Alarms tore through the dark cargo bay before I even opened my eyes. Red light pulsed across the walls, and the floor shook under my boots like something enormous had woken up angry. I had been asleep for 6 hours straight, the first real rest I had allowed myself in 3 days, and now every system on this ship was screaming at once. I grabbed the rail and pulled myself upright, heart pounding, my breath catching in my throat. The hull groaned, a deep metallic moan that echoed through every corridor, and for one terrifying second, I thought the old ship was finally tearing itself apart around me. My name is Daniel Whitmore, and 11 months ago, I bought a dead alien ship at a scrapyard auction for almost nothing. Everyone told me I was wasting my money. Nobody believed a 111-year-old wreck could ever fly again. Tonight, for the first time since I dragged her home, her engines were trying to start on their own, and I had no idea why. I ran toward the control room, boots slamming against metal grates, sweat already forming on my forehead despite the cold air. The lights flickered faster now, shifting from red to a strange white glow I had never seen before. Every panel I passed hummed like it was alive, vibrating under my palm when I touched it to steady myself. When I reached the control room, the main console was already lit up, symbols scrolling faster than my translator could keep pace. I dropped into the chair and pressed both hands flat against the console, trying to calm my racing thoughts. "Talk to me," I said out loud, though I still was not sure if anything could hear me. "What is happening?" The ship answered with a shudder that rippled through the entire structure, followed by a burst of light from the far wall where an old panel had been sealed shut since the day I bought her. I had tried opening that panel a dozen times over the months, and failed every time. Now it slid open on its own, revealing a chamber I had never seen before, glowing faintly blue. I stood frozen for a moment. My hands trembled, not from fear exactly, but from the sheer weight of the unknown pressing down on me. I had spent almost a year repairing pipes, replacing cables, coaxing broken machinery back to life piece by piece. I had never expected the ship to have secrets still hidden from me. I stepped through the opening slowly, my flashlight cutting through the blue haze. Inside, I found a small platform surrounded by strange markings carved into the walls, patterns that seemed to shift slightly when I looked directly at them. In the center of the platform sat a single crystal, no larger than my fist, pulsing with the same light that now filled the whole ship. The moment my fingers touched the crystal, every alarm on the ship went silent at once. The shaking stopped. The light steadied into a calm, warm glow. It felt like the entire vessel had been holding its breath for over a century, and this crystal was the last piece of her heart, waiting for someone patient enough to find it. I did not know it then, but that single moment would change everything I thought I understood about this ship, about the people who built her, and about what I was capable of doing with nothing but stubbornness and a toolbox. 3 days later, my friend Claire Bennett arrived at my dock, exactly as she promised. Claire worked as an independent engineer, someone I had met years earlier fixing old transport vessels on the outer routes. She was the only person who had believed me when I said this wreck was worth saving. She stepped off her shuttle, looked up at the massive hull towering above the dock, and let out a low whistle. "You actually did it," she said, shaking her head. "You brought her back." "Not completely," I admitted, "but something changed a few nights ago. I found a chamber I never knew existed. I think she has been waiting for something this whole time, and I think I finally gave it to her." Claire's eyes lit up with curiosity, the same spark I remembered from years earlier when we used to spend nights taking apart broken engines, just to understand how they worked. She followed me inside without hesitation, moving through corridors that hummed softly now, instead of sitting cold and silent. When we reached the chamber with the crystal, Claire went quiet, studying the markings on the walls with careful attention. She ran her fingers along the edges, tracing patterns that seemed to glow brighter under her touch. "These symbols," she said slowly, "they are not decoration. This looks like a memory system. I think this ship stored more than just flight data. I think she stored knowledge. My pulse quickened. What kind of knowledge? Claire turned to me, her expression serious. I do not know yet. But if I am right, this ship might hold information nobody else in the galaxy has anymore. We worked side by side for the next several weeks, mapping every symbol, testing every connection, slowly waking systems that had been dormant since before either of us was born. Every discovery led to another question, and every answer only deepened the mystery surrounding the ship's original builders. One evening, while running a diagnostic scan through the ship's core systems, an alert flashed across our screen that made both of us freeze. A signal, faint but unmistakable, had been detected far beyond the outer edge of the system. Something was approaching, moving directly toward our position. That is not a random ship passing by, Claire said, her voice tight with concern. That trajectory is deliberate. Whatever it is, it knows exactly where we are. My stomach tightened. For months I had assumed this ship was truly abandoned, left behind and forgotten by whoever built her, but the timing felt impossible to ignore. The moment we activated something buried deep inside her, something out there had noticed. I spent that night pacing through the corridors, unable to sleep, my mind racing through every possibility. Had we accidentally triggered a warning beacon? Had we woken something that was never meant to wake again? The uncertainty gnawed at me harder than any physical danger could have. 3 days later, the unknown vessel entered visual range. It was smaller than ours, sleek and elegant, built from materials that shimmered faintly, even in the dim starlight. My hands hovered over the console, ready to react, though I honestly had no idea what reacting would even look like. A transmission came through moments later, translated slowly by our overworked system. The voice belonged to a woman named Elira, though she made clear she was not entirely human in origin, despite speaking with a calm and measured tone that put me strangely at ease. You have awakened something that has slept for a very long time, she said. We felt it the moment your ship's memory core activated. We have been searching for this vessel for many years. I swallowed hard, unsure whether to feel relieved or afraid. I did not know what I was doing, I admitted honestly. I just wanted to save a ship everyone else gave up on. There was a long pause before she answered. Then you succeeded where an entire generation of our engineers failed. This ship was not abandoned because she was broken beyond repair. She was abandoned because our people believed her design was too unstable to ever be safe. You have done what we thought was impossible. Claire glanced at me, eyes wide with disbelief. Neither of us said a word for several seconds, letting the weight of that statement settle over us. Lalira's ship docked carefully alongside ours, and soon after, she walked aboard herself, accompanied by 2 quiet companions. She moved through the corridors with quiet wonder, studying the very systems Claire and I had painstakingly repaired by hand, without any of the advanced tools her own people once used. You rebuilt this, using nothing but salvaged parts and manual labor, she said, running her fingers along a repaired conduit. Our records show this ship required specialized equipment simply to diagnose her problems, let alone repair them. I did not have specialized equipment, I said simply. I had time, patience, and a strong belief that nothing is ever truly beyond saving if someone is willing to keep trying. Elira studied me for a long moment, something unreadable shifting behind her calm expression. Then she smiled, small but genuine. Perhaps that belief is exactly why she chose to wake for you, she said. Machines like this one respond to more than just repairs. They respond to intention. She sensed someone who refused to give up on her, and after 111 years, she finally found a reason to breathe again. Over the following weeks, Elira and her companions worked alongside Claire and me, sharing knowledge that had been lost to their people for generations. Together we uncovered the full purpose of the ship, an experimental vessel designed to adapt and evolve based on the people who lived and worked inside her, rather than remaining fixed and unchanging like most other ships in the galaxy. Every late night spent repairing broken systems, every stubborn hour spent refusing to walk away, had shaped this ship into something new, something neither fully human nor entirely alien, but a true blend of both. She had grown alongside me, the same way I had grown alongside her. Standing in the control room months later, watching her engines hum with steady, powerful life, I finally understood why I had felt drawn to her from the very first moment I saw her sitting abandoned in that scrapyard. She was never simply a broken machine waiting to be scrapped. She was a promise, patiently waiting for someone who believed that nothing worth saving should ever be given up on, no matter how long it might take, or how impossible the task might seem. And for the first time in over a century, she was finally, truly home.